What's up, everybody? Afro Joe here, 10 like a TI is again. I guess y'all heard that Amanda Knox might be extradited back to Italy, and I think it's bullshit because I already did a video about this when the first time she got taken to trial, and found out that the judge was on trial too for a case, and how the evidence was contaminated by the Italy police, and they actually found the real killer who killed the the victim in the case. I can't remember the girl's name. I'm apologizing because I can't remember her name. Please forgive me because it was so long ago. But I'm gonna say victim. But they found the killer who killed the victim, and he's spending time in prison. He's spending life in prison for murder. And when they found that Amanda Knox and her boyfriend back then was innocent, she was free to go. And it's something funny that she's been over here almost a year and didn't have to worry about being extradited back to Italy for nothing. Then now they sitting there saying they're gonna do extradite her back to retry her in the case again. I'm sitting there questioning. I was like, because the first time I asked, I was like, I hope they got if they got the double jeopardy law, that if they got the double jeopardy law, they cannot charge her for murder again. But like I'm asking, I'm gonna say if they got the double jeopardy law over there, why try to extradite her back over there? For what reason? You caught the criminal who committed the murder, but they want to extradite her back over there for some odd reason. Why? If the evidence has been contaminated, but they found enough evidence to convict the other person, the real murderer, and he's spending life in prison, why mess with her? And it's funny that they're extraditing her back, but I don't know if I haven't heard if they're going to extradite her ex-boyfriend. And it's so silly and so stupid that they're doing this now. Oh, we're going to extradite her back here and charge her for murder again. Under what law? Under what law? If they got, for real, if you live in Italy, and and you tell me there is a double jeopardy law in place, then that means she cannot be extradited back to Italy for a murder charge. She cannot. But it's retarded that this girl is going through this again because of what? Why reopen up the file even though you caught the criminal? But it's so silly, man, about this. And the news, the people saying, some of the people saying on the media and the paper and all like this, they saying the reason why she's being extradited back to Italy is because she's too pretty. Doesn't matter if you're pretty. Doesn't matter if you're ugly. Dog Chapman had a bounty that ran to Mexico, and he went to Mexico. And there's a law in Mexico saying there is no bounty hunting in Mexico. You cannot go down to Mexico bounty hunting because it's against the law. So when he went down and arrested a guy that raped and murdered, I think it was rape, I think in murder, I forgot what was the crime, but he went down there to get the criminal, him, his son, and his friend Tim. And when they went down there and arrested him, the police arrested them for bounty hunting in a foreign land, which bounty hunting is against the law. So they spent time in jail. That was prosecuted, I think, and they went back home. But after they did their time, they were extradited back to Mexico on the same crime, bounty hunting, and had to do house arrest. See, I don't get it. I don't get it that this girl's been extradited for a crime after she's been cleared of it, even though they caught the criminal already. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's fucking retarded. I'm just discombobulated. Discombobulated. I think that's funny, but y'all probably gonna sit up there and say, Joe, you don't know what you're talking about. Neither do you. But it's like this. It's retarded to charge a person for a crime after they've been cleared of all charges. You're charging a person, that means double jeopardy. That means that the crime cannot stick. And it makes no sense. It's just so fucking retarded that this is going on because of what? It still makes me question on do why do people wanna why does this country want to do this? What evidence do they have on her? They didn't say what kind of evidence they have on this girl. They didn't. Because if you remember in the case, the victim was dead, and they didn't find no fingerprints on the weapon that connects Amanda Knox and her boyfriend at the time to the murder. They didn't find no evidence connecting them. And she spent like a year or a few months in prison, or like a year 2 years in prison, something like that. and and only thing they found her evidence on, they found fingerprints, Amanda Knox fingerprints on a knife, but on the knife that they found her fingerprints on the blade, only thing they found on it was bread residue. Bread residue. And that was it. Bread residue. Then you got this 35-year-old man that the murderer of this 35-year-old black man chilling with college students. It ought to make you question, why was a 35-year-old black man hanging around a bunch of college students in Italy? Nobody never questioned it. Like, people question it, but nobody people forgot about it. In a way, you still got to think about it. Why was a 35-year-old black man hanging around a bunch of college students? Unless if he was up to no good. He's not a student. He's not a teacher. He didn't work with none of them. So why was he hanging around these students, these college students? But it's mind-boggling to figure out why would they want to recharge her for a case that she's been acquitted of. It still makes you question that. Makes you wonder that. It still makes you wonder, because I'm still questioning. Like, do they have the double jeopardy law? Do they? I'm wondering, do they have the double jeopardy law in Italy? If they do, then they have no case. And that double jeopardy law for some people that don't know what the fuck is a double jeopardy law. A double jeopardy law is where if you've been acquitted of a crime, they cannot retry you again. If so, then it would just fall apart and be thrown out because you're retrying a person for a crime they didn't commit. If it's a different crime, yeah, you could charge them for that other crime, but you cannot charge them for the same crime. If she killed this, if she was acquitted of killing this girl, she cannot be acquitted of killing. If she was acquitted of killing this girl, they cannot retry her in that case. That's what I'm saying. That's used for example, but that's one thing y'all gotta. That's one thing, and it just makes you wonder why is she getting. Why are they trying to charge her with murder again after she's been acquitted of this crime? That's one thing is people need to understand, need to try to figure out. And I think the U.S. needs to do some investigation of themselves. It's like why is she's been charged for a crime that she's been acquitted of? Because if that happens, where the U.S. government is investigating why they're doing this, like they can take action. Like, well, you cannot try. That's what can happen. The U.S. can invest. I think the U.S. can investigate that kind of line of shit because it has happened where there was a guy that moved to to Mexico. I think to Brazil. He moved to Brazil, and he's been charged with the murder. But he was 2 hours away. Like what happened was this guy was with this girl. And he loved this girl, and they broke up of differences. And she found her another boyfriend, but he had a business to run. He was running a paper. So what happened was the guy was 2 hours away from the crime scenes. There was witnesses. There was what was it? The bings of the cell phone towers showing that he was 2 hours away, but he was still charged with murder. The judge didn't want to hear from the witnesses. The judge threw the pings of the cell phone towers out, but it only took the word of a criminal. There was a pathological liar and a thief, and the judge took the word of a liar and a thief. But it makes you question. Like you gotta question it. You probably saying, Joe, you sound like a broken record. No, but you gotta think about this shit. If you don't think about what's really going on, it's like, why are they doing this? And he said, well, I don't give a fuck. She's going back to Italy and going to be tried for it. Who gives a fuck? But you gotta realize it could be your child. It can be your mama. It can be your sister. It could be your aunt, your cousin, your niece. You don't know, because it could have been somebody in your family getting charged for this shit, and you just don't know. But that's what I had to say on about this matter, Knox. I think they doing it because they got nothing else to do. They know they caught the right guy they caught the right guy for the crime, but to them to go after the girl that's been acquitted of the murder case, I think it's stupid just to do it again. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Afro Joe 10 like a TIS again. Tell me what you think about this case. Do you think that she should be tried again for a crime that she's been acquitted of? Do you think she's innocent, she's guilty, or was the media exaggerating about the reason why they're doing this because she's pretty? Think about it. And that's how it is for me. I still think it's a bunch of bullshit and they just doing this for fun. And I'm gonna say this for the victim family, I still say fuck you. You probably saying that's wrong. How can you say that to the family? The reason why I'm saying this to this family is because because I say like this, because I actually asked, why would you take a person that's been acquitted of the murder case to court to sue? And it makes no sense. Somebody told me why, because just because it came something, I forgot what it was, and I still thought it was stupid. I just didn't think okay it was right to do. I still think the victim's family should have sued the courts instead of suing Like sue the police department. Now, one thing is in this case, the Man of Knox case, they found out that black guy, the 30-year-old black guy that did it, they should have sued the police officers, the police department for contaminating evidence, for tampering with evidence, messing up the whole process. You don't, because to me, they should never sue. Trying to sue Amanda Knox for what reason? If she's been acquitted, you should have sued the courts and the police, not this person that's been acquitted. Cause you can't look, you can't get blood from a turnip. You can't get blood from a turnip, and that's how it is. And this has been Afro Joe 10 like the TIS. Follow me on Tumblr. Follow me on Twitter at Afro Joe the Wookie. Follow me on Tumblr. Subscribe to my channel, CeeLo Jr. 2 and CeeLo Jr. 3. And tell me what you think about this. Do you think she's guilty, not, or they just bullshit? Tell me what you think. Peace, love, and Afro Grease.